A black woman's stand against discrimination in a busy hospital in a major city in the USA. Jamila Harris, a successful software engineer, walked into the emergency room with her young son Malik. He had been complaining of a sharp pain in his chest for the past few hours, and after a tense wait, they finally got called in. Jamila, a mother of two, had always been a pillar of strength for her family. But little did she know that this visit to the ER would test her in ways she never imagined. They were ushered into a treatment room where Jamila sat nervously, cradling Malik in her lap. A nurse, whom she would later identify as Karen, entered with an icy demeanor. Jamila offered a polite greeting, but Karen barely acknowledged her. Instead, she looked Malik over with a dismissive gaze and immediately began checking his vitals. "You're here because of chest pain?" Karen asked in a condescending tone, not waiting for an answer before continuing. "Kids today always overreact." Jamila tried to explain Malik's history of asthma and the urgency of his symptoms, but Karen barely made eye contact, instead focusing on her computer screen. It wasn't long before Jamila noticed a shift in the nurse's attitude. Karen, who had been quick to respond to white patients in the room next door, seemed almost irritated to deal with Jamila. The situation escalated when Karen, without consulting the doctor or performing proper tests, dismissed Jamila's concerns, labeling them as overprotective parenting. The final straw came when Karen, in an almost mocking tone, told Jamila, "Maybe you should just take a deep breath and relax. You're making a bigger deal of this than it is." Jamila's heart pounded as her son clung to her. Clearly in pain at that moment, Jamila decided she would not stand by and allow her son to be treated this way. She asked to speak with the supervisor, but Karen scoffed, claiming there was no need for one. Jamila, her voice firm but calm, responded, "I am not asking. I am telling you. Get me a supervisor now." The tension in the room thickened. Jamila's heart raced, but she knew this was bigger than just her son's health. It was about justice. She stood up, Malik still in her arms, and walked out of the room. As she stepped into the hallway, a few people glanced up, some noticing the tension within minutes. A senior nurse, Marissa, appeared and asked what was going on. Jamila explained everything: how Karen had dismissed her concerns, how she had been rude and condescending, and how her son's health was being put at risk. Marissa immediately apologized and assured her that the hospital took such matters seriously. They swiftly relocated Jamila and Malik to a different room, and a doctor arrived almost immediately to examine Malik. It turned out that the pain was due to a severe asthma flare-up, something that needed prompt attention. Jamila's complaint wasn't just a matter of one nurse's mistake. It became a symbol of the broader issue of racial discrimination in healthcare. The next day, Jamila contacted a local advocacy group and shared her experience on social media, where it went viral. The story of the Black mother who stood up for her son and herself resonated with people everywhere, especially in the Black community, where instances of discrimination in healthcare are too often overlooked. The hospital, under pressure from the public and local advocacy organizations, launched an internal investigation. Karen was placed on administrative leave while they reviewed her conduct. In the months that followed, Jamila's case sparked wider discussions about racial disparities in the healthcare system. Hospitals across the country began implementing diversity and sensitivity training, acknowledging the need for greater accountability. But the true victory came when Jamila's story was featured in the news. At a public rally in support of patients' rights, Jamila stood on stage and spoke about her experience. The crowd cheered as she finished her speech, calling for greater awareness and change. The applause was deafening, and Jamila knew that her stand had made a difference not just for her son, but for countless others who had faced the same challenges. In the end, Jamila's quiet courage not only changed the trajectory of her son's health, but also illuminated a path toward a more just and compassionate healthcare system. Her victory was a reminder that when individuals stand up against injustice, even in the most daunting of circumstances, the world can and will take notice.